Hi guys, something is happened in Iceland. Something is happened at the Sutnuka crater, serious eruption. So there were basically two large craters remaining that were still erupting and sending lava, mostly eastwards at the moment, but it seems the smaller one of these two craters is slowing down. It is dying off and the larger crater is taking over. Does that mean the end of the eruption is coming, or will the same amount just flow out of the bigger crater? So the activity in the smaller crater is fading away, that's for sure. And this is a similar development that has happened to the third crater. So it seems really that the second one is just stopping erupting, and the Icelandic MET Office is saying the same. They're saying that it looks like it's dying down. The lava is still flowing, but it's not a threat to the defense walls in Grindavik, and also not a threat to the defense walls in Swartsengi anymore, where the Blue Lagoon and the power plant are located. So the area where the lava did flow yesterday is mostly in an easterly direction, and also it took like the usual route from the craters to the south. So it does not seem there's any more threat, and it also does not seem that the lava is on its way to Grindavik. That's the road. People were worried the first few days. It really looked like it did advance quite far, but then it kind of stopped and started like putting layers on top of each other instead of spreading out further and closer to the sea. But it was close, could have crossed that road and then crossed into the sea, where it would have produced toxic chlorine gas if it meets with water. But that hasn't happened, and it looks like it's not going to happen with this eruption if the eruption continues to do what it's doing right now. Of course, there is still the sulfur gas, the sulfur pollution. It was also found again last night. It was also found in the Blue Lagoon yesterday, and we will speak about, my friend, the Blue Lagoon in just a few seconds, because there are some news as well, and you might want to guess it. It's about opening the Blue Lagoon again for sure. So we will talk about that. We also talked about the tourism industry in my last video. And so the police chief of Sudorns has given a statement about how the situation is. Could they keep people away from that eruption site because of the toxic gases and everything? And he says, so far, there hasn't been much trouble with people who tried to breach the checkpoints and get in there. But we know there have been some people in Grindavik. And since then, now you have to show your passport at the checkpoint if you want to enter Grindavik, so that they can make sure it's only residents, businesses, or press people. And what they will review tomorrow, and that is interesting. I mean, they did set that date before. They said they would review it tomorrow, as far as I remember, but they will review the opening of the Blue Lagoon tomorrow. I mean, just yesterday we had the announcement that there was, only for a short time, but there was sulfur gas in the Blue Lagoon area. So I don't think it's wise to reopen. What if people are in the pool and wind changes, in a few seconds, and then the gas gets blown in? I wouldn't take the risk, but we know how this is, right? They had a good response team placed around the eruption area, so they did not have to turn around many people. But what the police chief says, I mean, so far it has been manageable. But on the other hand, he says, should the Blue Lagoon reopen and then people have to come into that area, there is a chance that more people will probably come to the idea let's walk to the craters, because it's not far from the Blue Lagoon, and that could cause a problem especially with the sulfur gas, with the toxic pollution. So reporters asked the police chief of Sudorns whether it would be possible to allow people to walk to the eruption, to turn it into a tourist eruption, so to speak. If you've seen my last video, actually what they're saying is the minister of I don't even know what, environment and climate and whatever. So some minister in Iceland has said that actually the number of tourists has increased since these series of eruptions have begun on the Reykjanes Peninsula. So basically since 2021 when Fagradalsfjall started to erupt. So the police chief says, well, they could take it under consideration to allow people to walk to the eruption, but it hasn't come to that at the moment, so they won't allow it. So he says we have to think about, if we allow this, what would happen, right? And it's definitely because should there be something going wrong, they have to have response teams ready and they have to react to an emergency situation. And he says, quote, there is an eruption going on and we have closure posts, we have surveillance inside the danger zones, and of course, especially inside Grindavik. And there is a lot of activity. There are workers, contractors that are laying pipes, more experts that are coming in and out. And there has been a lot of going on, and many people were inside the town at any time since November 10th, and the town is of course very damaged, as we all know. That's what he said. And of course also in addition, to think about letting people walk to the craters, there have been wildfires around the lava bed, but they're saying, yeah, this is a constant risk because it's very, very dry right now. And there's moss and some tiny vegetation that has built up on these former lava fields and beds, the old ones. And now that the lava is spreading out there, this is causing wildfires as well, which also causes smoke and potential hazards. So it's not wise to send people out there. Yeah, the Blue Lagoon is currently closed, guys, and he says, of course, it is under consideration, like many other things at the moment, to reopen the Blue Lagoon. And then he says, of course, we are concerned about gas pollution, right? Gas pollution that can disrupt the activities and threaten the lives of the people in Grindavik, but also in Swartsengi at the Blue Lagoon, and of course also for the personnel of the Swartsengi power plant. And he says emergency responders and those who work in the town of Grindavik, the business owners, and they could be exposed to serious gas pollution in the area. And that's the same for the Blue Lagoon and their employees, the tourists as well. I mean, one employee has already been exposed to toxic gas pollution and had to be hospitalized. Thankfully, he was okay, so he could come home later that day, but he started to have serious respiratory problems. So right now, Blue Lagoon website says offices will be closed until Thursday, April 4th. And, we have to wait what's coming out on Thursday, but I don't think that they will let the Blue Lagoon open. The Blue Lagoon has added a few frequently asked questions where they also have some evacuation maps where they're basically showing the main roads in and out, but at least there is a little bit more information on the website, but still you have to search for it. Of course, since they're closed now, there is this banner, we're closed now, read more, but as soon as they're open, it says all facilities are open, read more, and then you really have to look for that. But they have more information there now. I've always criticized that, so I have to give them some points when they deserve it. I hope they make the right decision and keep it closed until this eruption has died down more significantly or has completely stopped, mainly because of the gas pollution. You know how quickly wind can change. So guys, that was a little teeny tiny quick update. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you're new here, please subscribe so that I can see you more often. And to the ones that I do see more often, thank you for being here. Thank you for your coffee support on my website, buymeacoffee.com. And of course, for your supers, it helps a lot. And I've been a little bit tired, I admit it, the last few days because I had so much work to do, and then YouTube also, which is about 6 to 8 hours per day, at least sometimes 10 hours per day. And I've got the farm and I've got other jobs as well, but I enjoy doing this and I want to be here for you and with you, and That's why. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very, very soon. Bye bye.